Happy Saturday afternoon, everybody, or early evening, as you want to call it. And it's this wonderful, blustery, blizzardy, snowy day here in Greensboro, North Carolina. I'll tell you, it is pretty bad out there. I was out in this weather for about 3 hours driving back and forth. Had to take one kid to work, go to the store, and I was on my way back to the house. And then I got told turn around, go get her from work. It was a whole thing. So yeah, I'm not going back out there because it's pretty bad. So I thought today we would just talk about some case updates that have been ongoing. Some things have been resolved, some things are, still being pending out there. So sit back, relax, and I'll be back and we will talk about what I've got to talk about. Okay, we're back. Thank you so much. So, first, we're going to start off with a major case that has finally gone to trial and come to a conclusion, and that is on the murder of one Sonya Massey. Now, this happened on July 6, 2024. Sonya Massey had called 911 to state that she thought there was a prowler around her property. Two police officers showed up. And Officer Grayson and a Officer Farley. Then they went around and I mean, there's a video out there showing this, from their body cam footage where they had gone around the property, didn't see anything suspicious, but they did see an SUV with windows busted in. And at that point, they go back to her front door, knock on the door. She answers it. Now, let me say this. It was very apparent to me without knowing what happened, the end conclusion of that video that was out there, that Sonya Massey was definitely dealing with a mental health crisis. I mean, it was very, very clear to me. But I don't know why these officers weren't trained to deal with this type of thing. But they come into the house, they try to get ID. I mean, they notice something's off with her. I mean, you could just tell by the way they were talking to her. And then she goes and says, "By the power of Christ, I repel you," or something like that, or "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." That's what it was. And she goes to throw a pot of boiling water on one of them, and Officer Grayson shot her in the head, all on camera. Dude's like 6'6", and she's a small little woman, but he shot and killed her in the head. And, he was charged with first and, hold on one second here. Bear with me just one moment. I'm getting a message. But anyway, so she was, Sean Grayson was charged with first-degree murder, and the trial started in October of 2025. So we now have a conclusion to that case, and that case, he was found guilty of murder, and he got 20 years in prison. So, there's that. That, and he was let go from the sheriff's department and everything else, but, it was a homicide, and I mean, there was just she was gonna throw water on him. It was gonna burn him, but he didn't need to shoot her in the head. He coulda shot her in the shoulder, he coulda shot her anywhere else but the damn head, and, that's why she died. Um, and even his, partner, Officer Farley, even said and testified in the trial saying, "She never did anything that made me think she was a threat." So, he didn't think she was a threat. but it was Grayson, the officer that shot her, it was his actions that made, Farley raise a sense of awareness how Grayson was acting. So, um, Grayson was also equipped with a taser too, so he didn't have to shoot her, he could have just tased her and called it a day, but it is what it is. So he has been given 20 years in prison. Now he is suffering from stage 3 colon cancer, and I'm sorry about that, man, but you shot someone in the head. So there's that. And that is Grayson right there. So now let's get to some other cases. So let's see. Cecil Brockman, this guy right here. He is a state representative for the state of North Carolina. He is from High Point, North Carolina, not far from here. And he hold on here. Bear with me just one moment. Ah, okay. So he is a state representative for the state of North Carolina. He lives in High Point. He was recently arrested, I want to say in October of 2025, for basically living with a 15-year-old boy, and they were having a indecent, inappropriate relationship. And he was arrested for indecent liberties with a minor and a few other things. And what angers me the most about Cecil Brockman is he went to jail. He was arrested. He had to post bond and all that. He's had to step down from his political position. But what ticks me off with him is that he gave an interview and he literally put all the blame on the kid, saying, "Well, he told me he was 18 and, I met his father and nobody said anything." I don't know how much that is true. And I don't know if I believe that, and I'm sorry, damn you for blaming a teenager. What if the kid lied to you? You do the due diligence to make sure that kid is who they say they are, you know? I mean, he moved that kid from Georgia all the way to North Carolina, was living with him in an apartment, and the whole reason this even blew up like it did, the kid decided to run away from him, and Cecil Brockman called 911 and used his, um position to try to get them to find this child and bring him back to him, and even had barged into the hospital and tried to get to him that way. And when the cops got a hold of the kid's phone and looked at it, they saw some things they should not this kid should not have been doing with Cecil Brockman. So, now he is due to go back to court, when is he? March 13th. So, he's just in the beginning stages of his case. But, there you have it. So there's that. So we have got Cecil Brockman, and we are done with him. Oh, Jason Edward Kohler. This guy, I talk about him a lot. So back in September of 2025, Jason Edward Kohler was recorded on body cam footage. I mean, or basically on video that he admits that he had a relationship with or trying to meet a 11-year-old girl that he was talking to on Facebook in person for sexual exploitation. He was discovered by a group of men called Bikers Against Predators, called BAP. And this is what they do. They set up dummy accounts and they lure in people like him and try to get evidence to get them off the street. Now, Jason Edward Kohler is not a newbie to the justice system. I want to say immigrated. Hello. He moved from Minnesota to here and had done 10 years in Minneapolis for RAPING, a child under the age of 10, who turned out to be his own daughter. Now, I have talked about him at length. I have looked at, the records from that time. And the prosecutor, the person that, because he even got a sweet deal. He only had to do like a year and then he got out on probation. And he was supposed to stay away from anything, all electronics, like no computers, nothing like that. or stay away from children, these type of things. And he broke all that. And his probation officer went to the judge and said, "Okay, this guy is gonna be a problem." And they, the court stenographer, all the notes, the whole transcript of what was said in that courtroom is in that file in Minneapolis, and I've read the whole thing. And they literally said, "We have fear that if he is loose, a vulnerable woman or a child, they're not gonna be safe around him, and that he should not be loose." And that's the thing that bothers me the most about these things, with, child sex crimes and whatnot. The punishments are so lenient and so lacking. This is a never-ending cycle. These people who do these things are not rehabable, and, it's just the way it is. It's a mental illness that cannot be taken care of. So, there you have it. He is due back in court for his mess. He just had a court hearing in January where he was trying to get, his bond reduced. Denied. So he is due back March 13th as well. So he and Cecil Brockman are gonna be on the same calendar, both in High Point. So that's gonna be fun. Let's see who else we have here. Ah, yeah, this one here. Jacob Shane Hill. This man has been accused of murdering a man by the name of TK Burton out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Now, TK Burton went missing in July of 2024, um, end of July, like July 29th, and everyone was looking for him. There was flyers everywhere. His wife was begging for help and assistance and whatnot because she had heard from TK, like, right before, she reported him missing, and he was crying, and he was like, "Oh my god, I'm so scared." Last thing she ever heard from that man, which probably haunt her to this day. Jacob Shane Hill was reportedly one of TK Burton's closest friends. They have children the same age and whatnot. He's a tattoo artist. He was TK's tattoo artist. But he has now been accused of murdering TK Burton, shooting him. So right now he is sitting in Randolph County Jail on first-degree murder. And they have been playing fast and loose with his court date because originally in June this past summer, they had set a court date for December 25th of 2025, and I'm like, nobody goes to court on Christmas Day. So I just looked at it again today to see if they've changed it at all. Now it's December 25th of 2026. So I'm not sure when his case may go to court, but right now as it stands, he is sitting pretty in Randolph County Jail. Now, along with him, 3 other men were charged as accessories after the fact. They are Bo Benjamin Martin, who close friend of, Jacob Shane Hill, also owned the property where TK Burton's body was recovered and found. That is where he was placed. So, Bo Benjamin Martin has, he was charged with an accessory after the fact. Now, he was also charged with, failure to report and concealment of a body, but I think they've kinda dropped that. They're just sticking with the accessory charge right now. Now he is still sitting in Randolph County Jail as well with Jacob Hill, and his next court date is March 30th of this year. And, but he's trying to get out, but he's still sitting there. And, I believe, if I remember correctly, the description of the indictment where he was an accessory was lying, about the concealment and basically going around intimidating people and doing away with the weapon, the murder weapon. So, yeah, he goes back to court March 30th. So then we have Caleb Teal. Now this gentleman here is the half-brother to Jacob Hill. He has also been charged with accessory after the fact, and I believe his end of things was helping hide Jacob Hill from law. Like, he was on the run for a minute. They didn't capture Jacob Hill until, like, Halloween. So, they have been waiting on him. He also goes back, let's see, when does he go back? March 30th. So, that's this guy right here. And the 4th man, Francisco Trejo Gonzalez. So he has been charged also with accessory after the fact, and he goes back March 30th as well to court. Now Caleb Teal and Francisco Gonzalez are both out on bail. So, they are not being housed in the Randolph County Jail at all. But, yeah, they were out and about. But same thing, just disposing of evidence, hiding Jacob Hill. These are the things that they are being charged with and, um, what they're expected, to plead to. So, there's that. Those are the 4 guys right there. And then another interesting case that just popped up, this lady right here, Cindy Rodriguez Singh. Now, Miss Rodriguez Singh is a mother of a 6-year-old boy who is severely, disabled, and she and her new husband went off to India with their other children, but no one knew where her son was. Yeah, crazy, right? So, to this day, she was a fugitive in the justice system. She was, in the top 10 of fugitives, people looking for her, and they finally found her in India. I mean, there was video evidence of her hopping on a plane with the new guy that she's married to, and it took them a couple years, but they finally got her. So her son, Noel Rodriguez Alvarez, was 6 years old when she left with the other kids. She has a total of 10 children. 3 of them were, living with, grandparents, and then Noel, which to this day, they have not recovered his body at all, so they don't know where he is, but they do believe that Cindy did something to him. So, she actually has been charged with murder, and, she is being housed in a prison or a jail in Texas right now waiting trial. But, marshals went over the India, grabbed her and brought her back. So, um, yeah, she was added to the FBI 10 most wanted fugitive list in July of 2025, and, she was apprehended in August of 2025, and she was in New Delhi, India, extradited to the United States, and is in Tarrant County Jail being held on a $10 million bond and charged with murder of someone, under the age of 10. So, yeah, capital murder. But we don't know. We don't know where this boy is. We don't know how he died, but the police are convinced that he is dead and that she is the one who did it. So, when I hear more on her upcoming trial, because 'cause I've been looking and looking, there's nothing. She did go to court, like, in October, just like a preliminary thing, but nothing set in stone as to when a trial or if a trial is going to start anytime soon. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna try and offer her a plea deal or like, "Hey, I'll tell you where he is, take death penalty off the table," because she is eligible for the death penalty with it being a capital murder case. And I'm sorry you do something like that to one of your own children, yeah, I think you should die. Just my thoughts on that. So, yeah. So Cindy Rodriguez Singh, you are now been caught, you're in jail, and hopefully you will stay in prison for the rest of your life. Well, that's all I have for right now with the updates. I will come back. I'm going to do a more comprehensive review of the Lyric and or actually the Isaiah Ross murder trial because he's the murderer, and that came to a conclusion. He was found guilty and got a sentence either yesterday or the day before yesterday. So, and that also happened here in North Carolina, up around the Charlotte area, I think. But, I'm gonna come back with that, and we are gonna talk about that case. So, thank you for tuning in. This is Rebecca with Red True Crime. Have a wonderful day, and stay safe out there because those roads are not pretty. So